So, hello students. Today we will discuss about the leaf structure. Actually, the relationship between leaf and the rest of plant is described in chapter 8. A typical leaf of the broad-leaved plant is shown in the fig. So, show the transverse section. So, this is the transverse section, and this is the arrangement of the cells. Okay, it is attached to the stem by the leaf stalk. So, this is the leaf stalk, and it is attached to the stem or the branch by this leaf stalk, which continues into leaf as the midrib. So this is actually the midrib that is in the center, that is the midrib, and this is a leaf stalk. And from the midrib, these are smaller, actually the smaller veins. So these are the veins, and this is the midrib, and this is the leaf stalk. So we can say branching from midrib is the network of veins that deliver water and salts to the leaf cells and carry away the food made by them. So as well as carrying food and water, the network of veins forms a kind of skeleton that supports the softer tissue of the leaf blade. So the leaf blade or lamina is the broad. So this is whole actually the leaf blade, that is the lamina. Actually we can say this is the leaf blade. A vertical section through a small part of leaf blade is shown in the figure 6.8c, and this is actually the actually the whole arrangement, and this is the actually the arrangement, that is the vertical. This is the xylem, and so this is actually the palisade mesophyll. This is the actually the palisade mesophyll, and this is the actually the spongy mesophyll. This is the xylem actually, and this is the phloem. And we can say this is stomata, this whole is stomata, and these are the guard cell that are guarding it. Actually these are the xylem vessel, and these are the phloem sieve tubes. Actually outside the sieve tubes of the phloem and the inside there are xylem vessels, and this is the lower epidermis, and this is the upper epidermis, and the whole very thin layer that is called as the cuticle. So this is the structure of leaf. Actually a very detailed structure. So epidermis, so the name epi actually means the upper surface. The epidermis is a single layer of cells on the upper and the lower surfaces of the leaf. So we can say there is a thin waxy layer called as cuticle over the epidermis. Actually the wax is made up of actually fats, or we can say lipids. So the cuticle is made up of the lipids, and this is for the protection purpose. Stomata. In the leaf epidermis there are structures called as stomata, and the singular called stoma, and stoma is guarded by the guard cells surrounding an opening or the stomatal pore. In most dicotyledons, the broad leaves plants, the stomata occur only in the lower epidermis. Actually in the dicotyledonous plants, or the actually the word dicotyledon means the seed that contains two unit, or the two monomer or two cotyledons. So in monocotyledonous, the stomata are equally distributed on the both sides, but in dicotyledonous, more of the stomata are present on the lower side, and the too much low stomata are present on the upper surface. So the next component is the mesophyll. What is the mesophyll? Actually the mesophyll contains a lot of chloroplast, and which ultimately contain the pigment, that is chlorophyll, that is used in the photosynthesis. So we can say the mesophyll cell, the tissue between the upper and the lower epidermis, is called the mesophyll. It consists of two zones, the upper palisade mesophyll and the lower spongy mesophyll. The palisade cells are uh, continuously and contain a lot of chloroplast. Chloroplast are green organelles due to presence of green pigment, that is chlorophyll, found in the cytoplasm of the photosynthesizing cells. The spongy mesophyll cell vary in shape and fit loosely together, leaving many air spaces between them. They also contain chloroplast, but too much low. Spongy, actually the word spongy mean actually containing a lot of air spaces. So spongy is loose, or the we can say here this is the containing a lot of air spaces, but the upper is the palisade mesophyll that does not contain too much air spaces. So this spongy contain a lot of air spaces. Veins or the vascular bundles, or the main veins of the leaf, is called the midrib. Other veins branch off from this and form a network throughout the leaf. Vascular bundle consists of two things actually, the xylem and the phloem. The xylem vessel are long thin tubes with no cell contents when mature. Actually, xylem becomes dead when matures. They have thickened cell wall impregnated with the lignin, so which can form distinct pattern in the vessel walls. For example, spiral xylem carries water and salts to cells in the leaf. The phloem is in the form of sieve tubes. The ends of each elongated cells are perforated to form sieve plates. It is just like the sieve, and the cell retain their contents, which is used to purify the flour. Phloem transport food substances such as sugars away from the leaf to the other parts of the plant where these are can be used. So this is actually the summary of the part of the leaf and detail. Cuticle made of wax waterproofing of the leaf, it is secreted by cell of the upper epidermis. Upper epidermis, these cells are thin and transparent to allow light to pass through. No chloroplasts are present. They act as a barrier to disease organisms. Palisade mesophyll. The main region for photosynthesis is actually the palisade mesophyll. Cells are columnar, quite long, and packed with a chloroplast to trap light energy. They receive carbon dioxide by diffusion from air spaces in the spongy mesophyll. Spongy mesophyll cells, these cells are more spherical and loosely packed. They contain chloroplast but not as many as in the palisade. Air spaces between cells allow gases exchange carbon dioxide to the cells, oxygen from the cells during the photosynthesis. Vascular bundles, actually these bundles contain two type of tissues, that are xylem and the phloem. This is the leaf vein made of xylem and phloem. Xylem vessels bring water and minerals to the leaf, and phloem vessels transport sugars and amino acid away. This is called translocation. And the lower epidermis, this acts as a protective layer. Stomata are present to regulate the loss of water vapor. This is called transpiration. It is the site of gas exchange into and out of the leaf. So stomata. Each stoma is surrounded by a pair of guard cells. These can control whether the stomata is open or closed. Water vapor passes out during transpiration. Carbon dioxide diffuses in the and diffuses out during the respiration. So the function of the parts of the leaf are a lot of function. These I already have discussed: epidermis, stomata, and vascular bundles, and the mesophyll. So these are all the that I have discussed. Adaptation of the leaves for photosynthesis. So these are very important regarding the adaptation of the leaves for the photosynthesis purposes. So let's start. Their broad and flat shape offer large surface area for photosynthesis and for absorption of sunlight and carbon dioxide, because if the leaf has large surface area, there will be more number of stomata, and the more carbon dioxide will be absorbed and light will be absorbed. Most leaves are thin, and carbon dioxide only has to diffuse across short distance to reach the inner cells. So most leaves are thin. Actually the thin and thick cells contribute in the formation of, we can say, the rate of photosynthesis. If there is a thin layer on the leaves, so there will be a greater rate of photosynthesis in plants. And the third adaptation is the large spaces between the cell inside the leaf provide an easy passage through which carbon dioxide can diffuse. So this is just like the spongy mesophyll cell. Due to spongy mesophyll cell, there will be more rate of photosynthesis. Third adaptation is first one is a larger surface area, and the second one is a thin surface, that is a thin layer present on the uh, leaves, and the third one is actually the large surfaces that is present in spongy mesophyll cell. There are many stomata in the lower surface of the leaves. These allow the exchange of carbon dioxide and oxygen with the air outside. So on the lower side, the reason why more stomata are present on the lower side, the actual reason is the sunlight is outside, or we can say is above the leaf. So if more stomata are present on upper side of the leaf, so there will be more light exposure to the leaf. So we can say there will be more absorption of the or we can say transpiration of the water will be happened, and ultimately the plant will be dehydrated, or we can simply say the plant will be wilted. If more number of stomata will be present on the upper side, so there will be more transpiration due to more light, and ultimately plant will wilt. So that is the reason the nature has adapted more number of stomata are present on the lower side of the leaf. So there are more chloroplast in the upper palisade cells than in the lower side. So that is the reason actually to trap the maximum light. So the branching network of vein provide a good water supply to the photosynthesizing cells. No cell is very far from water conducting vessel in the one of these veins. Although photosynthesis takes place mainly in the leaves, any part of the plant that contain chlorophyll will photosynthesize. Many plants have green stems in which photosynthesis takes place. So this was all about leaf structure and leaf anatomy and adaptation of leaf for the photosynthesis purpose. In the next lecture, we will discuss about the mineral requirement that are necessary for the plant for their growth. So kindly subscribe my YouTube channel and press the bell icon to see my extensive and explanatory videos on the IGCSE O levels biology. So you can grab the concepts and the easy learning within no time. So and share with your friends. Thank you.